Did we do it? Are we here? I think we are. Welcome, everybody, to the Great American Witch. This is the season finale. Let's take a moment and absorb that and think about all that has happened, all that has transpired, all of the proverbial bridges that have been burned, all of the buildings that have been destroyed.
Proverbial bridges and literal buildings.
And
Right.
literal cities.
And literal bridges and proverbial buildings. We have them all. This is The Great American Witch. We are on episode 12, the season finale. We are going to wrap up our 12-season campaign tonight. This is an emergent game. So while I know all of the players involved, while I know most of their motivations, I have no idea what's going to happen. And neither does anybody else at this table. We are going to figure it out tonight. Anything could happen. Where are we? Oh, we're at the Happy Jacks Network. You can find the past episodes of this show at happyjacks.org/Great American Witch. You can also find all of the other shows at happyjacks.org/shows. As a matter of fact, this slot in the coming weeks will be taken up by a game that our own Emily will be running.
Yay!
So you don't ever have to leave. You can just keep coming back on Monday nights, and you can watch Kurt on alternate Mondays of Emily. Although we don't know exactly when that's starting, so shouldn't formally announce anything.
Just show up here every Monday anyway, and if nothing's going on, just like watch old videos. That sounds great.
That's perfect. You don't ever have to leave your routine.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going to do now that I have Mondays off.
Thanks, Chris.
I'm Christopher Gray. I think I mentioned that. Maybe I didn't. We also have here, on the subject of Great American Witch, the Kickstarter is done and fulfilled. So you should all have your digital copies. You should all have the print codes for the print copies. I ordered my own print copy because I wanted to see what the process was like. And I don't actually have a copy yet. So I was told it would take several weeks to get my order. So when it comes in, I'll let you know. I may have upcharged to get it quicker. But anyway, because I'm very excited. I think the game looks great. I'm very excited about it. I hope you are too. It will be available to the public within about a week or so. I just need to touch base with Gallant Knight and Alan and see when he wants to turn that on. We're going to give the backers a bit of time to have it first, and then just turn on the sales. So look out for that. I will announce it. You can buy it if you don't have it. Okay, so that's enough marketing. Emily, why don't you take it from here? Now that you've taken a big bite of your fajitas.
Sure, absolutely. Hi, I'm Emily. I'm playing Abigail Hawks. She is a member of the craft of Hekate. She does a lot of cool stuff, like eat fajitas.
Yeah, I can imagine Abigail being really into fajitas. Although fajitas in the Midwest are a very different thing. They tend to use zucchini and squash, and they make it mushy.
Yeah. In high school, Abigail had a job at Chi-Chi's and loves the fajitas at Chi-Chi's, a celebration of food.
They might get some of that Tex-Mex up there sometimes. Okay, and who else do we have? We have Mac.
That's right. I'm Mac. I am here. And I am playing Mel Lake, who is the craft of Lilith and currently is a vampire witch.
Yes,
Who
but
may have just made a deal with the Fae.
did make one. And a daywalker, right?
Yep.
Which is useful right now. We also have Jim, who is my cohort right now, because Jim has resolved his character and is now serving as a guide as well to help complete the story.
Honestly, I'm just looking forward to see what these guys come up with. Tossing a little pebble in here every once in a while.
We won't worry about how many times you can interject, just whenever you want. And last but not least, we always bring in Joe.
Hello! Hi, everybody. I'm Joe, and I play Albert, who is the craft of the spider grandmother. And looking very much forward to what's going to happen tonight. I have no idea. Even though Albert can see the future, Joe cannot.
Really? What a ripoff.
Shh. Yeah, that does suck,
Why aren't things ever convenient?
You create your own futures on Great American Witch.
There you go.
So we have. Does something happen with my audio? Is that my ear? Okay, it's just my ears. We have a lot to recap. If you have not yet seen the prior episodes, it's a good time to watch them because we're bringing to a conclusion as many open threads as we can. If you have seen what's happened so far, then you should be up to speed. In short, we have... how do we do this in short? I'll give it a try. All right. So we have a goddess who's coming back in order to destroy. This goddess has been brought because some radical witches believe that witchcraft should be done with and over, so they're actually doing it to kill all the witches. But they did it by getting one of the leaders of witches involved in this plot who doesn't know that's what they're doing and so thinks that they're going to be a big powerful witch and taking over. So we have kind of two conflicting adversaries. And then we have on the other side the Fae and also a bunch of ghosts and the rebels who have all come together to kind of unseat the bad witch and stop the end of witchcraft as we know it. And this is all happening in a sleepy little Midwest town somewhere in the Rust Belt, southern Indiana. Is that a pretty good summary? I don't know. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, it's pretty dang good.
All right, cool. We have a lot of conflicts in play. As you know, this game thrives on conflict. I'm going to switch to there so you can see. These are the major conflicts. We're going to have a lot more throughout the night as we go on because we are basically hitting the final battle with all of these forces coming into conflict with one another. So we will play on that board. So I will show you more as we go on. When we last left off, there was a deal made with the Fae to help out. In return, the Fae gets the town. We don't really know the details of that deal because it was sloppily made. So, going to guess the Fae get the better end of this contract, but at least for now, they are rallying behind the goddess of the Fae, who we've met before, taking the form of the White Crow. So they are on the side of good, so that's great. We also have a bunch of spirits rescued from the River Styx, who were blocked and couldn't go because there was no ferryman for some reason. And they have been brought into service of Abigail, who is going to use them in this, partner with them in this battle.
My ghost friends. I've made so many ghost friends.
They're friends.
I just picture your character like a Patton, with a helmet and everything. Just giving the undead a pep talk.
Yeah, perfect.
Also, on the other side of that coin, the spirit of Cabe has also rallied some spirits to go and interfere in some nefarious way. I'm told this last we'll see of Cabe. I guess that's up to Jim. Also, we have some rebels who have been rallied onto a train, this old train that's been used as a witch transport vehicle. And that's where we are. So when we last left off, the eclipse was beginning. Now, if you recall, when solstice came, you were all very super powerful. All of your magic was at an advantage, and it showed. I mean, you got a lot done last episode. I am sorry to say, I'm just reporting the facts. This isn't about me. This is just the way things are. That when an eclipse happens, that saps witch energy. So,
I would like to X-card that.
Yeah. Does that mean that we get to roll 5d6 and take the best 3? Is that how that works?
Yeah, we're going to go by Free League rules now. Number of successes. Yeah, it's a bummer, man. It means that the only magic that is not at woe is the magic that is in your aspect. So if you're Crone and you're casting Crone magic, you just roll at normal. Any other magic's going to be at woe. And that's true for all of the witches involved because that's sort of the unexpected effect of having lunar eclipse. It sort of cancels out all of that solstice stuff. Once the eclipse passes, you'll get all that solstice stuff, but I'm guessing a lot of this is going to go down during the eclipse. I don't know. I haven't watched the movie yet, but I'm guessing.
This will escalate quickly because if I have to stick with one aspect and I have to stick with Crone, the spider grandmother isn't very subtle.
Really? I don't know anything about lack of subtlety in Crone mode for game books. Not at all.
So those are the cards that were dealt.
We have a pretty good track record of maintaining our power and not getting overboard, so I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, and you remember any collateral damage, it's a small town. Just want to remind you of that.
Leave nothing left for the Fae to control. Raise the town.
Scorched earth.
Yeah.
Halt the fields.
So this whole thing is going to play out as a milestone chapter. So we're not really going to have any meetings or anything else. This is just going right into it. But I will allow a meeting before we get started so that you can kind of like orient yourself. And now you know that the eclipse is coming. And if you recall, there's a sudden change in temperature just around the town. And things got really warm all of a sudden, sort of like spring going into summer. And even in a very short period of time, the snowdrift from that major storm from a couple nights ago is starting to melt just around the town. Sort of this weird climate anomaly. And I think that's where we left it. I don't remember exactly, but that's generally right. So we can just start there. You've got maybe minutes before the effects of the eclipse come into play. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to you so you can have a meeting and prepare everything that you need to prepare before everything comes to a head.
Well, I guess for Mel, the thing would be probably regrouping with Albert after having made this deal. So I'm going to fly back over there because that's a thing I can do now.
Yeah. In the daytime, you're like at Season and True Blood when Eric could fly to the North Pole.
So I'm going to land by Albert probably.
And I think we left most people still outside the church where the train was parked. Is that right? Or no, we're in the middle of town. I forget.
I think we're in the middle of town.
That's right. There's with the statue of the founder and the confrontation with Raven. So that's sort of where everybody is then.
Yeah. I tried to convince Raven of some things and she like passed out. So I am watching over her.
Oh, I think she altogether left in rage. Should have recapped that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I remembered that incorrectly then.
Because I went chasing after her and wasn't able to catch up with her, but there was the white crow instead.
Yeah, there were some bat rolls during that whole thing.
Yeah, I do remember rolling very poorly.
You should be better tonight.
I'll try. You hear that, dice? So after
That was Chris cursing us right now. He's just enacted a curse on all of us by saying that.
We're going to be fine. We get 66.
That is so mean. I have been a friend, an ally, and a guide this whole time just because you choose to make terrible decisions.
That is true. That is true. That is fair.
So I'm going to come back and land. And so I may have done a bad, but hopefully works out in our favor.
Define a bad.
Like something to do with the Fae a bad.
Okay. Are they going to come? What did you give them? I assume they're coming to fight for us, but what did you give them?
Was anybody still really attached to this town?
I mean, my entire family is here.
Yeah, so that might be bad. They wanted to have more access to the town on a whole, and in exchange, they're going to come fight for us, which I kind of thought maybe the saving of all witches and possibly humanity might trump anything that we worry about where this town is concerned.
I mean, I would have just given them the Applebee's, but sure, I guess. The whole
I don't think they would have settled for the Applebee's. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have. Maybe the Olive Garden, but
That's off the
But-
table.
Nobody can touch the
Yeah.
Olive Garden. That magic is far too ancient.
It's deep.
plus those garlic sticks double as ones real well.
Yeah.
But
I
the good
suspect-
news is they're going to fight with us. And we kind of need that right now.
We do.
I suspect at the end of all of this, there will be some very painful conversation. But I would welcome their help.
Cool. That's good because yeah, I already made the deal for it. It was kind of a limited time offer thing.
How did they accept you as someone with the authority to do that?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Okay. All right. Great.
Yeah, because I mean, I seem very authoritative, obviously.
Abigail has pulled up Zillow and is like scanning for other listings. Oh God, it's really expensive everywhere else. Okay.
So yeah, especially because as I understand it, our powers are going to go bye-bye pretty soon. Mostly, we definitely need the backup.
Do we know exactly how this battle crow thing works? Is it like does Raven turn into it? Is it emerge from her? Is it like part of her? Because I think I have an idea, but we need to know how it works.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Now, we're in a meeting, so if you do something in order to find out, you can.
I mean, first we have to know where she is. Does anybody have any guesses?
I'm certain wherever it is, it's heading this way.
Well, she just ran away from here. Like, guess, yeah, maybe she'll come back. I think I'm going to try and enter her brain. That everything that you've been saying, Albert, about trying to put two spirits in the same person. I know that you were talking about yourself, but I think maybe you were actually talking about me. And I should try to put myself inside Raven and try and talk her down before anything gets too wonky. Like, that can't be that hard, right?
Well, if you're going to do it, you better do it quick, because...
This would be the time
Oof.
Yeah, well,
to make the attempt.
if somebody has like a Raven homing signal, it'll be easier if I can see her, but if I can't, I can just give it a shot, I guess.
This is the kind of action that will move us out of the meeting chapter. So is there anything else you want to do in the meeting before you attempt a person with two brains?
I just want to know if anybody has an eye on her.
I could maybe get one via one of my spells.
Okay, great. I may need some help. Like, this is pretty powerful shit. So, yeah, I'll have some ghosts, but yeah, Mel, if you could get an eye on her, and Albert, if you could help me, like, channel or
Yeah.
whatever.
I think Albert would also like to use whatever is left of his mana to get in touch with the local wildlife. Specifically, he's looking for hawks and predators of ravens.
Yeah,
like
I've
where this is going.
actually witnessed hawks take ravens or crows down in my neighborhood, so I know that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that you can do during the meeting.
Yep.
What Abigail and Mel are talking about, we'll have to do during the milestone.
Cool.
And just so you know, the difference is that one's a mission and one is just getting ready to do a thing. So the difference between a meeting and moving into another chapter is if you're about to do something, you have to go. But if you're just collecting your resources, you can do it in the meeting. All right, anything else you want to do before things get started?
Albert is going to invite everyone that's here to just join in on a little final coven initiation. I think we have some ghosts with us, some ghost army with us, maybe some fae joining in. And Albert's just gonna make a very unconventional ad hoc coven ceremony. For as long as we're joined together, we are a coven.
Now, Albert can't see but can feel all of the presences. Abigail can see the ghost horde around, like shadows and overlaying reality. Nobody can see the Fae, but they are there. They're sort of on the border. And, there seems to be, a bunch of odd scents in the air, like lavender, roses. There seems to be some odd breezes kind of kicking up here and there. But you can't see anything. You just know their presence is there.
The ghosts are like the ones who are more conscious of their lives on Earth are actively joining in, and then there are some who are like semi-conscious who are like doing it almost out of reflex. So yeah, it is like a chain that runs down the line all throughout this huddled crowd.
All right. Well, let's
Actually, you do see a group of Fae.
Okay.
They're actually dressed as Minutemen from the Revolutionary War.
Mm.
And they had set up an encampment in a fire. And then out of the mist, you see some Civil War ghosts sort of like go up there. And they sit themselves by the fire. And the Fae don't even blink. They just sort of pass cups around. And then you sort of see them sort of exchanging stories in the background.
That's awesome. It's really weird that the Salem witches have adopted that, but, there's probably a reason.
Well, now that the reenactors are here, let's get going.
Cool.
The eclipse is starting to reveal itself. And those of you that have seen even a partial eclipse, it doesn't take much for the entire temperature of the sky to change. And so things are more muted. There's a quiet stillness. The air is warm. It's almost like a hot summer day now. And now snow is slush. And it's this really strange weather pattern. Unfortunately, none of you present really naturally have an instinct of what might be going on. Albert, you are the closest to this world, and you have no reason or explanation for it. So it's definitely not witchcraft. There's something else at play. So that's going on. The temperature of the sky is more grayscale. The color temperature, I mean. There's sort of a cloaked feeling all around, an uneasiness, like there's a storm about to brew.
Okay. And I guess my next step is going to be to try and locate Raven using one of my spells.
Okay, so the conflict in play is Raven.
And am I casting at Woe right now because of the eclipse?
If it is not in your aspect, you are.
Yep, that is accurate. So this is either going to be spectacularly awesome or all the fail.
It's going to be spectacular no matter what.
Oh, it's bad. It's real bad. I got a 4.
And what spell were you casting?
I have one that lets me see inside the minds and other witches and like communicate, see what they're seeing, all of those kind of things. And I was trying to stretch it to see what Raven is seeing because she was initiated into our coven, but I got a 4. So I think that's probably not happening.
There's a reason why in the Bible and other holy texts that you're supposed to avert your eyes when you see the divine. It's not powerful in terms of heat or pain, but you just see a brightness so vivid that it physically blinds you.
Cool. That's exciting. Well, that didn't go as planned.
When you guys see Mel, she no longer has pupils. Just complete white eyes.
Okay.
I'm adding a conflict. Mel is blind to the board.
All right. Raven and I were close enough. I think I should be able to just find her by thinking about her really intently. I don't actually know if that's true, but it feels true, and sometimes that's the same thing. So if anybody wants to help out, cool. If this doesn't work, that might be it for me. It's been nice knowing you all.
Now, are you using like
I will tell you
divination
this.
radar, or are you actually going in through the veil to go into?
I'm gonna go. Yeah, what I'm doing is I'm using the return of spirit to their body and resurrect them from death as long as the body is habitable and can sustain life spell. So yeah, I'm basically just hoping to use my connection to Raven to like basically astrally project myself, because once you're a spirit, you can move really quickly.
Right, and then your body just falls dead behind you.
I mean, ideally, I'll be able to get back to it, but yes, this will be dead for a while. It'll be fine.
Mostly
It's only been mostly dead all day.
Yeah, I went to the afterlife already. I can do this again.
Hekate, this is old hat. You're cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if anybody wants to hop in, that would be great.
Albert is going to tend to Mel for a moment, and then realizing there's nothing he can do to fix this, he's going to see what he can do to help Abigail.
Now, if the two of you participate in this spell as a coven spell, then it becomes a coven spell. So all three of you roll with whatever the aspect tells you to.
All right.
So this would be a wisdom roll. And even though Mel is blind, I mean, you're not in pain or anything, Mel. It's just like you just no longer can see.
Yeah, but I can still help.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just have to daredevil this, all my other senses are heightened now.
Your vampire senses come online.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's no doubt. So then you're all rolling wisdom. And is this spell in Abigail's aspect?
It is in my aspect.
Okay,
yeah.
so it's just a regular roll then. Everybody roll a regular.
Got a 10.
7.
6.
All right. Well, 2 successes beats a bad one, so that's good.
Thank you.
But that means it's not a super success. It's going to be an average one.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
Yeah. So Abigail just drops like a rock. I'm assuming there are enough of you around to maybe catch her fall.
Yeah.
What was that?
And for
I can't help.
for a moment, Abigail, you see the tunnel, and you see wings. At first, they look angelic, but then after a while, they look. I almost said corvid. What's the species of crow?
Corvid.
Yeah,
Corvid. And there is a gigantic goddess form in front of you, coming from the tunnel. Huge wings, very avian looking in her features, but classically Celtic. And she has a short sword, shield, full armor.
Okay.
And then you kind of look around and you realize you're sort of in the front yard of that farm cottage where Raven grew up. And behind the goddess is Raven sitting on the porch swing as a young girl with a dilapidated old doll. And her brothers are out on the farm. It doesn't look as run down as before, but it looks like she might be trapped in a memory of some sort.
Okay. So that worked. Shit. What do I do now? Abigail walks up to the tiny child Raven. Is like,
No, she can't, because this goddess is in front of you, and as you get nearer, she steps closer.
okay, I had the geography wrong in my head. Yeah. Hi, Ms. Crow. It's really good to see you here. Can I talk to my friend Raven? It's kind of a little sister. You know how these things are. That kind of deal. I just like to have a quick chat with her. I'm not going to get in your way. I just want to talk with my friend Raven.
We are Raven. She says
Oh,
it in a chorus of voices.
oh, that's really great for you, but I want to go talk to the Raven I see sitting on the porch because I think that she would like to see me.
That was us years ago. Only a memory.
Yeah, I get that. Why this memory? What's important about that one?
It is the moment in which you arrived. I must stop you from proceeding any further.
Um, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I need to go talk to Raven. And I get that I'm talking to Raven, but I'm not really talking to Raven right now. I'm talking to like some ancient force that's hijacked my friend's brain, and I'm not going to let you do that.
You misunderstand, Abigail. We have always been Raven. We are just remembering who we were before.
Believe me, I'm all about people having self-determination for who they want to be, but I know Raven, and I know who you are, and I know you don't want to do this, and I know that you care about other people, even if it doesn't feel like it right now, because we've all let you down.
So you are doing a moral stand against the battle crow.
I really am. It's great. It's going well. I assume I don't have to roll at whoa.
No, that's just a normal roll. The woe only matters with magic.
Okay, so let's see. What would that be? Make a stand? Okay, cool. All right, let's hope I roll better this time. Oh, I got a 7.
Yay! All right, this goddess form dims and sort of takes on a different shape, and you see the teenager that you know. You know, wearing jeans, a flannel.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Ray.
I can't believe you sent your spirit into my mind.
Well, I'm worried about you. You know I love you. And
do you have any idea if you can get back?
I have absolutely no idea, but that's how worried I am about you, and that's how much I love you. Everyone you have ever known has left you, and I get that. And I left you, and that was shitty of me, and I'm not going to do it again, and I'm right here. And if that means I ride around in your brain for the rest of your life, I guess that's just the way it is, but you're not getting rid of me.
All right, well, then you're just going to have to come with me.
Where are we going?
I'm sorry, I have to do it.
You have to end the world?
In the world?
I mean...
No. No, what do you take me for?
What are you going to do?
I'm going to take away I'm going to take away witchcraft. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
You are all too powerful.
Okay.
There's nobody in charge of you.
Well...
So I'm going to take care of that.
Okay. A lot of people that you love and care about are going to die.
Only if they stop me or try to.
Do you really think that's going to work? Do you really think that, like, if you take the witchcraft away from Mel or from Albert or from me, that, like, we'll just go back to being normal people? That's not how this works. You know this isn't how it works.
You decided to jump on my bus. Here you are. Enjoy the ride.
At least I get a front row seat.
Okay, so you are in her mind, but she is going to take you with her.
Yeah, great. Good for me. let's cut elsewhere. I got to think about this.
In the meantime, back at the center of town, Abigail's lifeless body is resting next to the statue of the pioneer of Salem, Indiana. The eclipse is coming in closer. And you hear the railroad crossing go. Ding, 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 ding. Partition drops. In the center of town, this is the track that goes to the abandoned train station. That's now rubble. And it's just going like there's a train, but there's no train.
Mel doesn't know that.
No.
Just gonna assume there's a train going.
Very quiet train.
Yeah.
Albert is just going to stay very close to Abigail and keep watch of her body. He's not able to reach where she is, but he's going to do what he can to make sure the body remains safe while Abigail's doing what she needs to do.
The air is getting darker. Clouds are forming. Very, very violent looking storm clouds. On top of the darkening sky, you're kind of getting a refraction of light from the heavy clouds and the greenage that comes before a tornado. And the air is still, and suddenly just birds scattering in the sky and flying away from the center of town.
Looking at the sky, you squint a little and you swear that in the clouds you can see rows of audience members, as if there's something in the sky watching this entire event with bated breath.
Show us what you got.
You're not entertained. Okay. Albert's not going to make the first move. He's going to wait until he sees the white of the enemy's eyes before he unleashes tornadoes of his own. But
Mel
he takes this
takes
moment.
umbrage at that phrase. Because that's all she has left for her eyes.
Don't worry. I will be your eyes.
The clouds deepen and darken, and a funnel begins appearing. This is off in the distance over the farmland. In moments, there's touchdown, and this is an F5 quarter-mile wide tornado that's descending sort of on the outskirts of town.
Okay. Artillery has been fired.
What are you seeing, Albert?
Albert is going to try to conjure up a counter weather system. And he's going to shout over to Mel that it begins. They are making landfall.
Ugh.
You are not blind completely. Remember who you are.
Pretty sure I'm blind. Completely. Right now.
Only with your physical eyes.
Then let me borrow yours. And just to complicate things, can I try my spell again so I can actually see through Albert's eyes?
Yeah. You're confronting Mel as blind?
Yes. I got a 7.
All right. I'm going to leave it on the board because it might cause more problems later, but
Yay!
you're seeing things from somebody else's perspective, which is disarming and jarring and difficult, but you can kind of orient around it. It just means that, mechanically it means that everything's going to be hard for you if you're using vision, but
Sure.
in the game, that means you're just like completely disoriented.
Yeah. That's fair.
I don't
Nice.
think that Albert would notice any difference, right? You're just sort of,
I'm just gonna allow her to do that,
yeah.
whatever that is. Yeah, I'd like to create a counter weather system. Just whatever they're trying to bring in, I'm gonna try to push back as much as I can. That is in my Crone, so that's a regular magic roll.
Yeah, and you're confronting F5 tornado.
Of course I am. Let's downgrade that. I did a 5.
All right, so you're messing with the
do I
pressure
have
systems
any-
to kind of weaken the tornado?
Oh, well, I'm in Crone, so that's a plus to my. So that would be a 6, but still, yeah, that's still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to get the idea, you were trying to mess with the
Yes.
pressure systems.
Yeah.
Oh, that's conflict is still in play,
Okay.
and an electrical storm erupts behind you as another funnel cloud appears. So you're basically flanked by 2 tornadoes that are kind of circling around each other, and electrical charges are breaking between the 2 funnels, and this sort of violent array of constant storming, and now hail, like golf ball sized hail, lightning everywhere, and at some point you will get struck, or something near you will blow up. It's become extremely violent suddenly in Main Street.
Okay.
Odd weather we have here today.
Do I have time to do
NEM, it's a twister
another?
NEM.
Do I have time to do another spell, or should we rotate the scene a bit?
Well, I will escalate just a moment, but Mel, do you want to do anything?
Thinking. So, I guess my question is probably a very strange one, but how does the storm smell? Does it smell like there's an electrical charge that's running from the tornadoes to maybe a source that I can sniff out, since I've got like a super sniffer?
Yeah, so you want to triangulate maybe where it's coming from? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll allow that, sure.
And probably eat the cause.
Yeah. So this would just be an awareness roll, because you're using your
Okay.
vampire senses, right? Against the same conflict, tornado.
Okay. Oof. I'm gonna melt my dice down. I got a 5.
Okay.
And the world ended.
Trying to figure out what I want the next thing to happen. Okay. Okay. You've revealed yourself. That's what's happened.
Okay.
So you kind of open up, and you're looking through your vampire senses, and you realize that somebody is like got a radar going, and you pinged. So there's somebody been doing a divination, and now you've been located. And in the next moment, you're sort of off of Main Street, because you're right in the center of town with that statue. And there's the the stop light, and then the street lights, and then your sort of Main Street shops. Along the street lamps, you see suddenly the forms of many witches just appearing on top of the street lights, and then a couple on top of the cross beam of the traffic light. And they're just standing there against the storm, cloaks, coats, whipping with the wind. Rain, hail, lightning, exploding all around, and they're just sort of, you're seeing these silhouettes. So there's got to be 24 of them, just forming one after another.
Albert, we pinged the radar. We need to move. We got to move Abigail with us.
Albert is going to do the Crone Blessing. Nothing of the natural world can harm the subject, including weather, natural disasters, animals, or even hunger or thirst. My question is, can I make this an area target effect, or does this have to be centered around one person because of what's going on right now?
In general, you really can just do it sort of localized, but If you put enough effort, or if there's not enough cost behind the magic or time, you can make it bigger. So if you can think of a heavy cost or a way to really, make it substantial.
I cut off a finger.
That sounds like a pretty heavy cost.
Yeah, I'm going to cut off a finger. And I would like to make it a dome effect, like everyone within our area. Basically make this a little fort. And we'll see how that goes. And this is where I roll snake eyes after I cut off a finger. Here we go.
And you're confronting Storm Coven.
Yes.
I have
9.
faith.
Oh, actually 10 with my plus prone.
All right. So that is subdued. They are still there, so it's not resolved.
Yes.
But
Right.
but now you're protected. So you have narrative control here. You can tell me what it looks like. We already know what it does.
Yeah. I think we start seeing arcs of electricity and lightning starting to fork its way towards us, but they splinter off. And the hail is still hitting us, but it's not pelting us. It's kind of like everything they're trying to do is muted. So it's like an annoying environmental effect, but it's not weaponized as much against us.
All right. You see the Minutemen are now taking shots at the witches.
About bloody time.
And it's like and there's sort of while it looks real, it's obviously not, because what's happening is funnel of air is blasting from the rifles, and it's kicking them off of the light poles with the impact, and so the witches are having to like reorient themselves, or they completely fall, and there is just a sea of grass sprouting up through the asphalt of the street and turning into cover for anybody that's down in the ground. There's a white crow circling overhead.
Have we got more time to do stuff?
Yep.
Or I'm gonna go eat some people because I can smell the blood. And while I don't necessarily have to eat people, thanks to Albert, I'm going to do it. And I think that's also, I'm going to, you can tell me if I can't do this, make this very loud whistle and summon in my foster mother, who's been waiting in the wings, because this is what I promised her was witchy carnage.
If I recall from last session, she was around.
Yeah.
So I think that's fine. Now here's a challenge. Storm Coven is still the conflict, and that has been subdued because of the.
I will spend my charm.
Okay. Put that back into action. And so this is a. Oh man, I forgot my. Is it lat? I keep on using Great American Novel terms. This is a. I want to say lash out, but that's not the name of the move. The be violent move. It is lash out. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And is it any particular type of roll or just?
No, it's that's a severity roll, and
Severity.
there's no woe or wheel. It's just a straight roll.
Yes, that's what I was hoping you would say. So that is going to be, unfortunately, not very high, but it is a 7.
Okay.
Yeah, these dice are going in the microwave later.
All right, so you follow the scent, and you grab a witch and start pulling the lifeblood from them, and the effect is intoxicating. Like literally, it's almost like you've had way too much to drink.
That's exciting.
So you're sort of disoriented. You're still seeing through Albert's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just like you're nauseous and drunk.
Cool.
But yeah, you killed the shit out of this witch. Like you're seeing it from another point of view, so you can just see like this vampire creature come from nowhere, grab and this dead body. You can have an opinion on how that
mental
looks.
scars. It's definitely gonna leave some mental scarring.
Some of the rooftop tiles, well, I guess they wouldn't be tiles. This is the Midwest. Shingles are starting to fly up off of the roofs of the buildings on Main Street and sucked into the storm as the storm is converging down. Lightning's throwing down, but there's this ward, so it's not hurting you.
Okay. I mean, until something happens otherwise, Mel is going to just, with her foster mother, just start killing the hell out of witches from the Storm Coven.
Yep, so we'll get back to that. And in the meantime, let's go back to Abigail for a moment.
I'm still inside a brain.
You are starting to see through eyes as if they're yours.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell that Raven is in flight over the church. And she's watching as witches are jumping into the church and pulling out people who are hiding there. And some of them are broken on the pavement as the witches are violently throwing them out. Some of them are just being escorted out and lined up. But there's sort of a gang of, you don't know who these witches are, but that are in there. And Raven's flying over to the church.
Yeah. Last week I picked up a new spell that I haven't gotten to use yet, and I'm going to use it right now on my good buddy Raven. Let me check what conflict I'm doing here, because I know you like to know that.
I had to put in one for this. Church is attacked.
Okay, Raven's subdued. Battle Crow's subdued. Yeah. I have no idea what to do. I think I just look at Raven and I'm like, what's going on down there? What are they doing?
They're looking for you.
For me? What?
You and the others.
Oh.
And you can see they're being interrogated, the ones that are being thrown out. Raven's coming in, and it looks like she's sort of, you feel enough now that you're seeing through her eyes, you can kind of feel her intent. Mm-hmm. And she's coming in for blood.
Okay. You don't have to do this. You don't have to we don't have to stoop to their level. We can, I'm just kind of along for the ride, obviously, but you don't have to be the same as them. I swear, it's possible to, I don't know how it came to this, but we need to find another way to do this instead of more bloodshed.
There's only one way to end all of this.
Right. You have to get rid of witchcraft, even though we don't know what will happen after you get rid of witchcraft.
Okay, so I think you are still doing a make a stand.
That's apparently all I'm doing.
You could also, this could be about protect too, if you're just trying to protect the witches below.
Yeah, I'm going to protect. I'm defending their honor.
So that's mercy against churches attacked.
Mm-hmm. And that is an 8.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, so she hesitates, but then the witches below see the threat. And they are casting curses. You can't quite tell what they are.
Mm-hmm.
But Raven screeches and begins to fall. She loses her flight.
What a great time for me to use the new spell I just picked up last week. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for giving me this. What's this conflict called? Raven is falling?
Yes. Raven
Great.
is falling. We'll do that.
All right. So this is a spell I got from the Craft of Mary.
Ooh.
And it is a mother spell, so I'm not in that, so I'm going to have to roll it woe. But you can find what ails a person, whether it be emotional, spiritual, or physical, and how to heal them. And I'm hoping that not only will I figure out what this curse is, but what like Raven's central core psychological problem is. You know, like we'll just get all of it at once. Yeah. So I'm going to roll this and see what happens. At woe. I know it's at woe. 6.
Mm.
I had a 10 if it was at wheel, but it's
Ooh.
a 6 at woe.
Yeah, you figure out the curse.
Mm-hmm.
Raven is losing all of her blood as she's falling to her death. Well, maybe, but that's what. So she's lost all of her strength, and she is falling right into the church. And you can see there's witches below that are kind of doing this, and the tornado's coming in closer to the church as well. So the witches that are on the ground seem completely undisturbed by the fact that this massive tornado is coming in. But obviously the mundanes are already starting to duck and cover as debris is flying through. So you are in a free fall.
I want to rally Raven.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to. I want to give her a pep talk because she can't. If she's going to destroy the world, she can't go down this easily. Like, really got to give it a shot here, Slugger. So yeah, I'm rolling rally. Just like yeah, we'll see what happens. Oh God, I got a 14.
Okay.
Now I roll well.
All right. So
Drama.
Raven is falling as off the board. Raven is still on the board. So while you can't control what she does, you can tell me how she rallies.
I think for like a brief second, I see that little girl on the porch, and she's like crying, and she doesn't have her doll. And I look at, it's like I look at her, and it's like I'm looking at her and also looking at Raven, the battle crow at the same time, and I'm just like, you don't have to be afraid. I'm here. I'm going to take care of you. But you do have to get up, and you do have to keep going, because this can't be where it ends. And Abigail's like thinking in the back of her brain, I can't believe I'm helping her end the world. But she's very, she like puts a hand on Raven's shoulder to the degree that she can in this mental space. And I do think there's some element of like Back to the Future. Abigail is like dissolving into this other person and like has to get out of there pretty soon, but puts a hand on her shoulder to steady her. And it's like it somehow, it's like the ultimate halftime pep talk, because her slowly but surely Raven's wings start moving again. And even if she's still affected by this curse, which I assume she is, she's able to sort of keep flying.
She opens her eyes as the little girl, and now it's just nothing but pupil, completely black eyes. And the raven that she is does this magnificent cough that kind of reverberates throughout the landscape. And all of the witches at the church evaporate into blood clouds as the impact of the voice just eviscerates them. And all of the civilians and mundanes sitting there are covered in their blood, screaming and running back into the church as the storm approaches.
That's what you want to do? That's getting rid of witchcraft? That's not making witches human. That's blowing witches up. That's going to be just catastrophic.
It
not
is
just for witches.
now.
Not just for witches. It's going to be catastrophic for regular people too. It's going to be like World War II times 16 if all the witches in the world suddenly just explode and everyone is covered in blood. Can you imagine how bad that's going to be?
So she's in a rage, and probably isn't listening to you at this moment, but you might get a chance later. She is flying towards the center of town. Meanwhile, back in town, a train arrives out of nowhere and bulldozes through the grass and breaks the asphalt beneath the grass and comes to kind of a screeching calamity halt and is sort of embedded into the concrete and kind of like teeters a bit. And a bunch of rebel witches come out and curses start flying. Mel is in between feeding witches, so you probably knocked down about 2 or 3 in this time as the train arrives. What now?
That is a good question. They're all going to kind of start smelling the same to Mel.
Yeah, you can also see though, but from a different angle.
Yeah.
It's like you're in third person, but on a video game, but you zoomed out too far.
Yeah. I think in a rage because she's so like pumped up on all of this blood and everything. I'm gonna try and cast a curse on some of the remaining Storm Coven witches.
Okay, Storm Coven is subdued, so I can escalate and give you.
Well, you get a charm at the beginning of each chapter, right?
Right.
So we've done a couple chapters tonight, so I should have.
Oh, at the beginning of each session.
Got it. For some reason, I thought it was chapters.
It used to be back in the old rules.
Well, let's escalate it then. Let's do that.
All right.
Why not?
Okay. The storm is taking on a form. And this is the massive tornado is spinning off into these large appendages. And now the tornado takes on the shape of a giant spider and is now coming towards the center of town, destroying everything in its path. So that is distracting. So when you're confronting Storm Coven, you have to confront the fact that this tornado spider is advancing onto the town.
Okay.
The conflict is actually Kaliska.
Goodness. Okay. Do I roll just straight up then?
You depends on what you're doing. So if you want to,
It's a curse that's in Crone, and I'm in Crone.
all right. So yeah, you just roll straight up
Okay. Let me double check.
against Kaliska.
All right.
Now you're not confronting Kaliska. You're confronting the fact that Kaliska is taking on this form while you're trying to attack the other witches.
Well, nope. Too busy drinking blood. I rolled a 3.
Okay.
It's been real bad tonight.
Yeah, I think at this point you're about to drop this curse on a witch, and they turn and sling something at you. And in this moment, you see this sort of impish devil-looking creature rip out of reality and come from nowhere and just come at you, and you are being clawed apart by this monstrous devil that was summoned by a witch. And you're seeing it from afar.
Yeah. And feeling it from up close.
Yeah. Yeah, you're feeling it for sure.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay, so what next? Oh, I should, before I say what next, there is a giant raven in the sky, probably the size of, has a wingspan of about like a condor.
Albert is going to shout into the air, General Washington, if that is your name, I call it now. and then hoping that somebody somewhere will hear it.
It's General George Washington. He's standing next to you. He's wearing, the full-on get-up powdered wig, sword on his shoulder like this.
It is good to see you.
We're working hard out here. He points, and you can see that there are witches that are struggling with hordes of insects, biting flies, vines coming up out of the ground and snaring them, and while the other witches are fighting. And so you've been kind of focused on different parts of the battle, and it's the first time you realize that there's a full-on battle going on all around you.
Okay. I'm going to relay to him that we are being attacked on several fronts. I intend to take on the giant spider, but whatever they can do to shore up, we need all the help. So, yeah, let's do this. Let's get this done. Albert is going to attempt to do a similar spell. We'll see how far he goes. He's going to create his own avatar storm spider. And this is becoming a Godzilla movie very quickly.
Actually, I think it would be more of a kaiju movie.
Yeah. This is becoming Pacific Rim very quickly. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
With a wheel.
Against
Thank
Kaliska.
goodness. Yes.
Okay. So you're taking on a similar form?
Dude, I got a
Yes.
great visualization for that.
Hit me.
So you basically you sort of see the spider and decide, fight fire with fire, but you coalesce the spell, and basically your finger from the floor sprouts spider legs. Basically, just sprout, sort of like goes over to you and sort of begins to expand and meld with you. And it says, "It's from you. It is you." And you take the form of a giant arachnid.
This is dope on so many levels.
So it's not a storm
Yes.
spider. You're just like an actual spider.
I think I like the idea that if we're okay with it, because I'm leaning into Albert using natural disasters as his power set, but if we're okay with me just being a giant spider, that would be awesome.
Yeah, no, Jim said it. He has the power.
Cool. Awesome. I am a giant spider. I'm going after my mother.
As is
And
tornado.
each one of the eyes of your spider actually is glowing with its own individual rune. It's basically it's furry, but it actually has the same color hair as you. There's just something about the way that the front of it is constructed that's actually somewhat reminiscent of you. Isn't exactly look like you, but is reminiscent of it.
Right. There's something in the eyes. There's something about it. Yeah.
Spider-Bert, gonna make his mama hurt.
Yes. Hell yes.
Genius.
Hell yes.
Lola is suspended over Main Street. Arms out, looking down, dress spinning in the wind. And she drops some sort of curse that levels 5-10 of the rebel witches on the ground. And they're pinned, some of them screaming in agony as she shouts, "You're on the wrong side." I'm going to go back to Raven. Raven's descending onto the scene. We can switch to Abigail unless Mel wants to jump in.
I mean, I just want to keep eating people
Okay.
at this point because that seems to be the one thing that I'm good at tonight. Thanks, Dice.
Can we say that because I have spider eyes, Mel gets like multi-dimensional view?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
Ooh.
She's seeing through your eyes. That's a good point.
Nice. Nice. I'm definitely going to keep eating people.
I think it's going to be impossible to eat people at this point. You're far too disoriented, and you're
Too
going to have to collect
disoriented?
yourself.
Okay.
You're going to have to collect yourself, but we'll do that in a moment. Okay,
Okay.
so Abigail, you are descending as a giant condor raven into what looks like a temperate rainforest sort of thing you would see in like Oregon that's growing up where Salem used to be. And there are, it's impossible to say exactly what's happening. Sometimes witches just drop. Sometimes you see earth open up. Sometimes you see just explosions. The storm is now converging onto the town as a giant spider, and now there's a equal opposite spider coming at it.
For every giant spider, there is an equal but opposite giant spider.
And Raven is going towards Lola, who is suspended above Main Street and leveling witches.
Can we just cut to some guy who's live tweeting all of this?
Yeah, let's see that guy.
Oh, there's a spider. What? Now there are two spiders. The fuck? I just dropped my dice. Yeah,
I think you're getting more and more transparent. You're starting to
Yeah.
become her.
a conflict that Emily has put on the board is that I am apparently fading away. Yeah, I just kind of look down at myself and I'm like, I kind of have this distinct sense that like if I'm going to get out of this situation and get back to myself, like this is do or die. But also, I know if I do that, probably there's no way to stop Raven. So I'm going to try my spell again. I want to see if I can figure out what it is that she wants or needs, or like what might help.
And this time you're confronting Abigail as fading. Raven is subdued, so this is really in the context of the fact that this is sort of your last go.
Okay. Sure. Great. Oh no, that's a 7.
There's a 7?
Yeah, forgot to add my thing.
Oh, Nelly.
Oh man.
All right. And this was your Mary spell, right? To figure out what was ailing her.
Mm-hmm.
She can't control the full onslaught of remembering who her soul is.
Mm-hmm.
And so the memories of ages past are coming into reality. And she has no recourse but to let it out. And is targeting witchcraft because she views that as being a betrayal and making an unsafe world.
Okay.
So to fix that, she has to reconcile who she is or sever the memory. And just, forget the fact that she's actually a goddess descended.
Okay.
Or there's another option. She could ascend and leave the material world.
Okay. Probably taking me with her. Yeah, I am going to turn toward her and say, you can still choose something else. It's not too late. If you keep on this path, you're going to destroy everyone you cared about. I might be already gone, like you might, that might be just how it is. But I know you, Raven, and I know you don't want to do this. And I know how hard it is to be something other than what you are and to have the world think of you that way. And you know, I know that. And I think that's why we always got along. Let me tell you a story. When I was 16, I was on the internet and I was Googling magic spells that would turn me into a girl. And of course, those don't exist. Or if they do, I never found them. And I saw somebody commenting on one of the posts who said they were in Indiana. And I thought, Indiana? So I replied to them. And they were from around here. And their name was Jocelyn. And she was my best friend. And she's gone now. But the first time I met her, we looked at each other and we said, we know, and we know alone who we are, but that's all. We can never let anybody else know because they'd never understand and they'd never let us be that. But she was wrong. People are more than you think they are. People are better than you think they are. And people are not just the worst version of themselves. And that goes for witches too, and Raven. You have to make the other choice. And I have to go because if I don't, I'm going to die. But please, please, please make the other choice. And then I'm just going to like shoot myself out of her eye.
Yeah, this was all a success with the caveat. So the caveat is you're booted out.
Yeah.
Back into your body. And you look up and the rest of you sort of kind of, well, I guess the rest of you. No, the rest of you are a little preoccupied to see this. So I think Abigail's the only one that sees this.
Yeah.
The eclipse is at almost total. And from the shadow of it, Raven, the teenager, is walking with purpose down the middle of the street, surrounded by a multitude of crows. Looks something like this. And she approaches Lola, who comes down to face her. And in the next moment, Lola just drops dead on the ground. And then she looks over at Abigail. I think that'll be enough.
I'm going to walk towards her.
Thank you, Abigail. I should be going now.
Okay. You sure?
I'm sure.
Cool. It was really great knowing you, Raven.
Well, I hope so.
Enjoy godhood or whatever. Seems cool.
I don't remember much, but I hope so.
Okay.
And she walks into the eclipse, sort of becoming a part of it.
So how is everybody?
All right, well, there's a big spider fight going on and a very stunned vampire. So let's go to the vampire first.
That's me.
I'm going to put... There's a conflict here that it's just like... Mel's brain is breaking. I just don't think this... Not being a spider, seeing as a spider, but separate from yourself, plus the rage. I mean, you're kind of at the point where you're going to mentally fall apart and just go comatose or silent or something, retreat. So that's the conflict in play. So I'll let you decide what you want to do about that.
Can I throw something in here?
Please.
There's a voice in your head. He goes, all right, you got to come back. Purr. It's going to be okay. Purr.
Oh, madam.
Look, man, what's going on? Who the hell's going to feed me if you keep going on like this? Now let's calm down and take care of problems. I find there's nothing that a good ear scritch can't fix. And she actually scratches you in the ear and you sort of like jar out of it. Haven't you ever had a familiar before? She starts licking you.
I can't say that I have.
There's cool things that we can do, and you start seeing through her eyes.
Well, this is helpful.
It's standard familiar stuff. You can also cast spells through me. There's a lot of things we could do. I mean, there's really no manual, and we're really not supposed to talk to you all that much unless, all kinds of crazy shit's going on. And he looks around, 2 giant spiders, a bunch of things blowing up. I think this sort of counts.
I would think so. I would definitely think so.
You
What?
are so cat. You got distracted by eating when other things were going on.
You would know.
Yeah, I know a lot of stuff. I'm smarter than you.
Wow. Well, rudeness aside, do you have any suggestions on what to do next?
Well, you have clear vision. There's definitely an avenue of magic that is conducive to this. Maybe you should forget about that other side of you that you just picked up. It's like new and shiny, and I know new and shiny is really distracting, but maybe you should lean back on the old stuff. You know how it used to be?
Oh, when I was making people bleed from every possible orifice of their body.
That was cool.
Well, let's see if we can't do it again.
I have faith, and I'm here to help. She just sort of curls up around your neck and sort of just flops there.
Yay, new
and
eyes.
and seems to be looking forward. And the thing is, the vision is really weird to you because you actually see more than you're used to.
Yeah, I think you see the ghosts that are all standing there being, waiting for instruction.
Mage sight, yeah.
And that, that intervention means that you are no longer in conflict of losing your bearings or your mind at this point.
Cool.
That's so cool.
I love that.
Just keep me alive, okay? I'm still just a cat.
Trust me, I wouldn't dream of doing anything to cause you harm. And I'm gonna go back to trying to make the baddies bleed from every readily available orifice.
So at present, we have some of the rebel witches that are fighting what must be the Storm Coven, because they are coming in odd angles, like from lampposts or from the other side. And you actually see there's kind of a battle going on. You see like some witches just sort of disappear and reappear, but with a gash on their face, and then they come back and disappear again. And then there's glimpses of sword and starlight and sunlight as the Fae are kind of crossing over and taking punches, and the witches are fighting back. And there are several that are sort of still on the lamppost that are doing bigger magic. Like one, you can tell, is actually trying to draw the veil over the entire Main Street. And you can kind of see parts of Main Street disappear building by building as he's trying to draw everybody in. And the spiders are already going in there. So he's casting some big stuff there. So there's all this stuff happening.
Well, fuck that dude in particular.
Did I give you a
Let's
target?
see if I can do something about it.
All right.
Okay. Come on, dice.
All right, it's called this conflict guy on a lamppost.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris,
Yeah.
Is Lola still a conflict on the board? I thought she was removed.
Oh, no, she's dead.
Yeah.
Raven took her out.
All right. So let's see what kind of roll that was again. So that is severity. Okay, so I got an 8.
All right.
I was just trying to make sure I had like every bonus that I could wrap up into that.
So that was the bleeding spell?
Yes.
starts bleeding and gushing on the lamppost, and as he's falling, he throws his arm like this, and all of a sudden, you are bleeding from every orifice as well. But it's gushing.
Oh, good.
That's that return thrice spell that everybody hates.
Well, I may be bleeding from every orifice, but I am also well equipped to replenish that blood that I am bleeding from every orifice.
So you're going to take a snack to help out? The curse is instantaneous, so it's sort of like it's just going to take you a while to recover.
Sure.
Well, she packed a bunch of extra blood beforehand.
Okay, so Albert is facing off with this storm of this turned into a spider shape. Funnel clouds whipping around, and it's crashing through. It's starting to pick up entire buildings from Main Street. So the wind is about to hit right where everybody else is. What do you do?
I'm charging right towards it. The intent is to get all up in it and move it away from the city. And slowly try to web it down or get it into some form that I can fight it.
All right, if you're just tackling it with your material form, that is a protect roll, which is mercy.
Okay.
In the way that you described it.
I think that's what Albert would do. So
You're confronting Spider Tornado?
Yes. Has the Category 5 been upgraded to Spider Tornado?
Yes, it has.
Okay.
Next on Sci-Fi Channel.
Okay. 6, 7, 8.
Okay. So you have restrained it.
Okay.
And it's whipping around you and now picking you up. And so you're sort of lost in the storm. And now the storm is more amorphous. It's sort of closing in on around you and localizing. Okay. So it's really strong.
Gotcha. I'm going to keep wrestling with that for a while.
Okay, what about back on the ground, Abigail? You're sort of in the middle of this forest that is growing in the middle of town. You can see Continental Army men from the Revolutionary War fighting witches. There's a sort of crashing over of the veil. It's really thin, especially for you. You can see almost like it's become interchangeable. Like if you're anywhere near Main Street, you're also in the veil. And it's becoming punctuated by this guy that was drawing the veil over. Now he's been dispatched, but there's still this very, very thin sheen between the real world and the world beyond. You.
There we go.
There you are.
I want to roll awareness just to figure out what the fuck is going on. I want to have a sense of like what the best way to ease to what the quickest way to make all this stop is, basically.
Yeah. All right. The solar eclipse is still in play. Let's just do that as a conflict.
Okay.
Awareness.
Well, so much for that. Both my dice dropped on the ground, so I'm rolling again. Oh, I got an 11.
Awesome. I'm going to... the solar eclipse is going to end soon, so I'll go ahead and just remove it from the board. You tell me what's going on, the best way to fix this.
The whole system, there's so many factions involved here. The veil is getting punctured into reality. I think the single best way to end all of this is to get rid of Kaliska once and for all. That feels to me like no, you know what? That's too easy. It is to the Battle Crow was right. Witchcraft as it is needs to end. It's to tear down the power structures that exist and replace them with something new. How we do that right now, I don't know, but we have probably the way to do it is through that giant spider. So
The storm spider?
Yes, the storm spider. So the that feels right to me. You have to go through the storm spider to be able to build something new. And building something new will be hard, but getting rid of a spider will be comparatively easy.
Well, spiders become more of an amorphous, targeted storm, unlike this area in particular.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, which is good for downtown because now the wind is stopped and some of the buildings are now falling from the sky and collapsing onto the farmland.
Wow. Yeah. So, I'm going to. God, I don't have anything that can really deal with that, but.
All right. Well, you have to do something about the storm. And just as you are kind of figuring this out, you can see these spirits that are crawling out of the ground, sort of like Walking Dead way, and lashing out at your ghosts, kind of pulling their spirits apart one by one, and they're converging, kind of like it is sort of like a battle invasion, but it's more like monstrous, and they're just tearing these souls apart as they're converging onto your ghost army, who is sort of standing right there at the edge. Also from here, you can see the line of fae that are out there, and they look like monstrous insect-style entities, but they're clearly kind of working towards the spider storm, kind of under charge of General George Washington, which from behind the veil looks like this massive scorpion person. But in front of the veil looks almost comical. So the fae are sort of there too, but they're out there further. You're seeing this happen right in front of you as these other spirits are pulling down and ripping apart your ghost army.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do a spell to protect my ghost army from powers that harm the spirit or soul, keep them from condemnation, possession, or banishment. This feels like probably it's more significant than what I normally would do. So I probably have to do something in terms of cost, I suppose.
Yeah, something to amp up how hard it is.
Cutting off a finger it's just it's been done. Can
we say that the giant spider is missing one of its appendages?
Yeah, so it has.
Yeah, I think that should be a permanent cost. Yeah.
Come back to me. I'm thinking.
Okay. Mel, you are oriented now. You can see through your familiar.
Mm-hmm.
You see everything that I'm seeing now because you can see through the veil clearer, actually, than Abigail can. So the fae are actually in a full-on assault of this entity. From behind the veil, looks just like that woman you met before, who's sort of smartly dressed, wears a suit, has a trumpet case with her. I think it was a trumpet case. And she's sort of at the middle of it all. And you can see Albert's astral form in there as well, wrestling with her. And the fae are converging on them. But you can also see this ghost army being torn apart by these spirits that are coming up. And above all that, you see the real world as well. And the storm has stopped. Witches are still fighting. Although it looks like the rebels, the guys on the good side, the Storm Coven is only so big. So you think the tide is turning on that front. But they're kind of
so super simple. Everything's just great. I can sit back and relax now. I think I'm going to focus my efforts on the woman that Albert is going after.
Mm-hmm.
Because it sounds like she's sort of the nexus of all of the bad.
Yeah, physically speaking, she's at least half a mile, 3/4 mile away. But through the veil, she's as close as you need her to be.
Mm-hmm. Also, I can fly. So.
And you can fly. That's right.
Can you feed on somebody's astral form?
You can try if the dice allow it.
I'm going to try because she's currently distracted with Albert. So it seems like that's a good time to at least try to sink some fangs in.
All right, so I'll need to escalate this since Kaliska is subdued.
Okay.
Oh, no, you have a charm because I escalated before. So if you want to use that charm to...
I
go
would.
after... Yeah, okay.
So that my dice can fail me miserably. All right, what kind of roll is this?
This is let's just call it a severity roll. It's not magic. It sounds like it is, but it's not. You're not actually casting a spell. You're trying to use your natural nature and the world beyond. So let's just call it a lash out severity.
All right. I got an 11.
Oh,
Woo!
Wow.
Yeah, finally. The dice are like, please don't put us in the microwave.
Since you have an 11, I'm going to let you decide on whether or not this resolves the conflict. So what your choice is can you take care of Kaliska like this? Or are you just going to subdue the problem to be resolved in another way?
So I think that I can do it, but I think it's going to be at a nasty cost.
All right. Well, you have total narrative control, so I leave it entirely up to you what happens.
Mel comes, zooming up behind this woman and sinks her teeth into this spectral form and starts to feed. But she's feeding on energy instead of it necessarily being on like a true, like an actual, blood from this person. And I think that basically it's more like consuming a soul than it is consuming a mortal person's blood. So I think that my cat's going to jump on my table and be in the way. Sorry about that. I think that basically she's going to take that person into her, and so some of their spirit is going to live on in Mel, unfortunately.
So what does it look like? How does it all... On the outside world is a big storm. On the inside, it's just the woman fighting with Albert, wrestling.
Yeah, so in the veil, it looks like almost like when astronauts have got liquids, and so like the blood is like the spirit blood is sort of floating up from her wounds as Mel continues to feed on her. But outside of the veil, it's just everything starts to start whirring down, and much like a car whose battery is dying, and it's just trying desperately to whir until eventually it goes silent and goes and just kind of has that last little gasp as her life is extinguished.
So, Albert, you find yourself looking over the dead body of your mother. What does she look like?
I think I see her as I remember her when I was a child. A powerful, driven woman, very passionate in her beliefs and her convictions. Definitely somebody that was going to make a mark on the world. And that's the version of the woman that Albert's choosing to see as he's witnessing the corpse of his mother lying before him. I think he's going to take a really long time just processing all of this.
Meanwhile, Abigail, you are still witnessing the slaughter of these ghosts.
Yeah, I have decided my cost, which will be I am basically going to turn myself into a beacon that all these spirits will be drawn to, and then I'm just going to run. The train's here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
It had a haphazard landing, but yeah.
my good buddy Gwen's in the train, and I think she's going to be able to take care of some of this with some
Okay. All right.
fancy word work. So yeah, I'm going to turn myself into a beacon, attracting all the bad spirits. If I roll poorly, who knows what will happen? It's going to be great. That's a 12.
Wow.
On woe. A 12 on woe.
Oh, geez.
All right. So that conflict is resolved. What happens?
Yeah. I feel myself sort of like glow, like I'm heated up, like a radiator in the winter, and instantly, like all these spirits that have been preying on my ghosts, my good friends, the ghosts, like turn almost as one, like those seagulls in Finding Nemo. They don't say mine, but maybe they do. Yeah, and I just am like, crap. And yeah, I turn and bolt, and like the train is not that far away, but it's still the spirits move quickly, so I'm just gonna give you a free. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what that would be, but I feel like I should have to roll to make that run.
No. I mean, you succeeded. This is how it works. So the the statue of Michael with oh man, what was her name?
With Gwen.
Gwen.
I think it's literally just like I'm running toward the train, and like the door to the engine is thrown open, and like this statue lumbers down the stairs and like gets between me and this horde of spirits. And I just keep running. I don't even look back.
I think you're muted.
Yeah, I can't.
Meanwhile, Gwen keeps on hacking these spirits as they now are sent back to where they came from. So all that remains at this point are the remainder of the Storm Coven. There are 4 left, and the rebels have them rounded up. Albert is still out, quarter mile out in a cornfield. The eclipse is subsiding. There's something gnawing on the consciousness of Mel, but is subdued deep down. And for a moment, there's calm.
Is the sun coming back?
Yeah. The eclipse is passing. Temperature's kind of going back to the way it was. It's becoming winter again.
We probably need to figure out what's up with the Fae owning the town, though. That seems bad.
I think we should figure out what to do with the last 4 of the Storm Coven that remain.
Well, they're being rounded up. Like, we should send them to witch prison. That's a thing, right?
I don't think so.
Right, and also like there's a whole bunch of problems with the prison system that we should be aware of and that we should be thinking about. And there's probably even more problems with the witch prison system because there's so many problems with witchcraft in general, which I've learned about today. But yeah, we should probably deal with that. You're right.
Mel, through your augmented sight, you see reapers coming in. Sort of like these little black portals popping out and these black hooded reaper figures coming out, and you see them collecting the dead all around the town.
Well, we could try banishing them.
True.
And I'm gonna be real garbage. If I can, anyway. I'm going to try and Sparta kick one of the Storm Coven witches into one of these portals that have opened that the Reapers are coming out of.
I think that's a lash out.
This is Indiana.
There isn't a conflict in play for this.
Okay. So, yikes. I only got a 6.
All right,
Of course. I rolled when it was really important to do so.
You're confronting Reaper Judgment. So, yeah, I mean, you kick the witch who goes stumbling forward. And one of the Reapers comes up to you and reaches inside your body and pulls part of your soul out. You can finally kind of being tugged out and looks like this, kind of cocks at his head, or their head, and then lets go.
I just put up my hands like, whoa, sorry, my bad kind of gesture.
And you hear a voice in your head that says, part of you is dead already. Which part shall I claim? And goes back inside. It's like searching inside, and you can kind of feel like if you were anesthetized and somebody was inside of your body, pushing against your skin and your muscles from the inside. It's sort of reaching inside, looking. There's a beast. There's a scorned woman. There's a witch. It's 2 witches. I'll take this. And you feel Mel being pulled out.
Cool.
What do you do?
I don't know if there's much I can do.
There's always something you can do. If there's a way for someone else to jump in, you're welcome to.
Yeah, Albert will jump in and do something if Mel doesn't want to, or if you narratively want to do something.
I mean, narratively, it's kind of interesting if Mel gets pulled out and what's left is the beast and Kaliska.
And my mom.
Yeah. So I'm torn.
How cognizant of this would I be?
Hmm?
How cognizant of this would I be?
Oh, you would be. You're Hekate. You would see the whole thing happening. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna stop this shit. You're like, no, that's my friends. Am I still at woe or am I at wheel now?
The eclipse has passed, so now you have wheel. Because it's solstice again.
Hooray! Yeah, I'm going to protect the subject from powers that harm the spirit or soul, keep them from condemnation, possession, or banishment.
That's very specific and apt.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a 14.
Okay, on Reaper Judgment. So you have total
Holy
narrative control.
moly.
I'll take it off the board. What happens?
Yeah. I see like the this force pulling Mel out of her body, and it's the Mel that I first met, who was sort of like had that sort of surly front, but was clearly like very warm and open, and like I can see that what's left behind is feral. So I just am like, God, enough already. And I like just reach out and grab hold of this beast but grab hold of this creature that's doing this to her just by like its neck, like you grab a cat and just like pull it up and pull it away. I'm like, no more of this. And I just send it flinging toward an open portal into the veil, because they're closing up, but this one isn't.
All right.
And like Mel was kind of like a third out of her body, and then she just snaps back like a rubber band.
I think she probably collapses at that point, because to have that part of her pulled out and flung away, I think she sinks to her knees.
And you're looking down, when Mel's looking down, assumingly since she's on her knees, weak, two set of riding boots enter her vision. And she could see. She realizes at this point that the effects of the goddess blindness is gone. And she sees riding boots. And looking up, sees the standing form of General George Washington.
Well, it looks like we did it.
Thanks for the town. It's already coming together. But, y'all can leave now. We'll take it from here.
Point of order. Abigail can see the Fae, right?
Yeah.
Point of order. What are you planning to do? I have like people I care about. Should I get them out?
You won't be comfortable here unless they're campers.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Mel.
Sorry.
You okay? You okay? You feeling okay?
I feel more myself than I have in a while.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you need help getting? We should go home. We should all go home. Do you need help getting there?
I do.
Okay. My car is somewhere.
Upside down in a cornfield.
Yeah. This is Salem. There's inevitably one of these cars just has like the keys up under the whatever that's called. So yeah, we just open and then there is one that is just like an old beater pickup truck that has the keys just fall down. And I'm like, I'm sure it'll be fine. They're going to have a lot bigger problems than missing their car, and we can give it back. We'll just figure it out.
Trust me, you do not have to justify stealing a car to me.
I'm
Amongst all the things that I have personally seen and done, I am not in any way, shape offended.
I am justifying it to myself because let me tell you, those 10 commandments, they die hard.
Fair enough.
So I get in and start it up, and it's one of those old diesel ones, so it's just like chugs.
Are you going to pick up Albert?
Yeah. Albert, do you need a ride, or are you just gonna?
I'd like to have a moment where Albert investigates the remainder of the Storm Coven.
Okay.
He's going to walk to each one. He's going to not ask, but he's going to do a divination to look into their souls to see, were they just following orders? Are they still open to being guided under better leadership? Or were they just complete assholes and wanting to destroy everything? Should I make a divination roll?
Yeah, let's
Or
go
is
ahead
that
and keep it
something
in
else?
milestone and see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's interesting.
And there is no conflict in place, so you want to spend a charm to go after Storm Coven?
Yeah, I would like to do that. Sweet. Okay, here we go. 8.
All right. Like most things, there's a mix. They have been heavily influenced by her, though. And with her gone, they are lost and frightened. So even the more dedicated ones will probably bend, but you could never really trust them completely. This has been a multi-decade process.
Yeah.
They believe that witchcraft should be destroyed. Ultimately.
George Washington shows up. Well,
General.
The battle is over. It's time for you to leave. What do you plan to
Be
do
better.
with these Benedict Arnolds?
They cannot be trusted. They've been too far warped by my mother. And they've lost their way. are no longer servants of the spider grandmother, but of some perverted purpose. They are no longer my kin.
Perhaps we can come to an arrangement. We have
I'm
a
not going to like this, am I?
We have a stockade, and time is meaningless to us. If you do not wish them eliminated, we can put them away for you. Let them rethink their motivations.
There was something my mother feared more than anything else. It was to live a mundane life. She judged it as being powerless. Maybe a fate better than waiting in eternity just to suffer. Maybe a fate of living a mundane life would be better fitting a punishment for them. Are you able to strip them of their magic?
He basically goes over to them and just they sort of materialize behind him are 2 Minutemen guards. They're holding their muskets in parade form and they're following him. And he looks down at the Storm Coven remnants. What are you willing to give?
Are you asking me or them?
Yeah, you. We can do this.
What would you want? What left can I give?
He basically sort of snaps his fingers and opens his palm, and there's your finger. I'd like to keep it.
So long as you do not use it for any nefarious purpose against me or my kin.
Nefarious is vague.
Any purpose to which I would not willingly agree.
How is this? This will allow me to summon you once and ask a boon of you. And we promise that it would be not
just kill them.
That is away
Albert's
going to
walk away. Just kill them. Albert begins to walk away.
And as you walk away, you hear musket shots?
Yep. Thank you for your service, Mr. General Washington. I hope you will do a better job with the mundanes here than we have. They deserve a chance.
I think you will like what we've done with the place. And they sort of just fade away into mist. And their bodies on the ground. But then that's what you see when, and because you feel a rustling behind you, but you turn around slightly and you see the bodies on the ground decay in super fast order, a la sort of like Indiana Jones style. And then the bones start sinking, and it's almost as if there are years passing in the terrain behind you.
Yeah.
All of the sown fields are being are sort of dusted away. Wild flowers and plants go up. Winter, spring, summer, fall. Winter, spring, summer, fall. Winter, spring, summer, fall. And then after just about a blink of an eye, all of that happens, and it's a verdant, beautiful forest with birds and bees.
In death, you will serve the spider grandmother better. Go with this blessing.
That's all I had.
A pickup pulls up behind Albert. Hey.
I'm very tired.
Well, do you want to ride?
I would like to drive.
If you're very tired, maybe you shouldn't drive.
Fair point. Albert's gonna get into the cab.
All right. Let's go home.
Where would that be?
I was wondering that too.
Let's go back to the hearth. Nothing that's broken can't be fixed.
Wait, does
Plus,
the land of the hearth was on belong to the Fae now?
plus, it's technically on the outskirts of town. We
That's true.
established that very early on, so
That's
it's
true.
not actually in town.
That's true.
Boom.
Pass by the Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Why don't we move to a montage? And you will all get to complete your character's story, because I think this is the end. Who wants to go first?
I think since Mel has found that with Abigail's help, she was able to be brought back from vampirism, that she enlists Abigail's help to go and do the same for her foster mother, and moves back in there and tries to make repairs and amends with her.
On the edge of the New Forest.
Yep.
You see Abigail, like, I don't know what kind of political organizing witches do, but she's very much like, the seven are all gone. We have to come up with a new system. And she's sort of thrusting herself into the middle of this because she believes very deeply in it. Well, of course, helping to rebuild the hearth and make sure that everyone she cares about is resettled. It's a bright summer morning the next summer, and she's getting ready to go to Alex was his name, to go to Alex and Megan's engagement party. And she's getting ready in her room at the hearth, and she looks on the windowsill and sees a single raven's feather.
Mel, if you're okay with it, I think some time passes and Albert does become a bit closer with Mel by sharing more of his stories. And it's almost as if he's dropping a hint, like he'll say things like, "My mother left me a lot of responsibilities because of the power in her blood, in her essence, that it doesn't have to always be a curse. That's what I learned." And he drops little nuggets of these stories as if he knows, but he's not saying it. And he spends the rest of his days looking after Mel. And he opens up his old room again. And in a secret section only he knows about, he has a new web. And on it are tags. And it says Albert, Abigail, and a few other names. But there's one tag that has two names written on it, and it's Mel/Kaliska.
Like it.
All right. Jim, anything happened with Salem that we need to know about?
There's somebody driving a long country road, and as they're driving by, they pull over to relieve themselves on the side of the road, and they find a sign that's been completely grown over and it looks worn down that says Salem population, and it's sort of rubbed out and it's sort of rotting away. And you see him sort of like look around because he heard something from the bushes, and there's some moving around, and then you see a tricorn hat, and then all of a sudden you just see from the back his body just gets shoved into the woods, and the car sort of begins to corrode very quickly, and then winds up as sort of red dust that gets blown off into the air. It's now a national park, but a lot of people don't tend to go a lot there because creepy things happen. But it's sort of been, for some reason, the government decided to set that plot of land aside, and nobody really knows why, but they just did. A lot of people remember there was a town there. They're not really sure, but whatever. There's more important things to worry about.
There was some twister wiped it out, and so the government took over.
Yeah, it's just completely ruined. But then also you see basically a large wooden desk, and there are stacks of paper, and you see a hand moving these papers around, shining things around, sort of. And there's an abacus and a finger sort of like click, 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 click on the abacus. You see the man behind the desk sort of stand up. There's a very familiar looking suit, gray. He buttons it. You see a coat rack. Next to the coat rack, there seems to be a scythe and a black robe. The hands extend out, pick up the black robe, put it on. You just see a well-appointed sort of legal office with all these books. A hood comes over some brown hair as the scythe goes over his shoulder and the door opens. And all you hear is, well, time to get back to work. I love the new job.
Cabe the Reaper.
That's it.
All right. Well, I think that closes our chapter of The Great American Witch.
We didn't check in on Santa.
Yeah, and what's happening with the Olive Garden?
No, we've established that this story is a work of fiction. Since Santa has been established as being real, he has no real.
I think that in the middle of this national park, there's an Olive Garden that's just mysteriously still operational.
Like the Fae don't even have power there.
Yeah.
No, there's an Olive Garden, and there's all kinds of there's gnomes, there's pixies, there's
Olive Garden. When you're here, you're family.
family.
Yes.
Oh,
That's the embassy point.
yeah.
See a bunch of unicorns parked out front.
And suddenly it turned into Shrek. Yeah, that was it. I thought that was wonderful. I hope you enjoyed it. It
That was good times.
definitely
Thank you so much.
definitely a big last battle. Wow.
Awesome.
Ooh.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, unless you have anything else to add, let's just call it a night and call it a season.
Eh,
So thank you all
We
for
did it,
joining
guys.
us. We did it. We made
Thank
it.
you all
all
so
12.
much.
Thank you
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Hey guys.
thank you
for everybody that's listened all the way through, thanks so much. This was super fun to play.
you know,
Yes, the people in chat have been so much fun throughout
Yeah.
this
yeah, you all are wonderful.
extravaganza.
I wish I could do chat and run a game, but I can't do both. My brain doesn't work like that. But you've all been wonderful, and I appreciate your journey. This was the first time we've ever, produced this game live, so I hope you enjoyed it. I don't really have any announcements. I'm taking a hiatus after this. Enjoy my Monday nights and watch Happy Jacks. Participate in chats. But where can we
I'm
find the rest
actually-
of you? Do you want to start, Emily?
Yeah, hey, I'm on Twitter at twitter.com/EmilyVDW. I play in the Savage Worlds game every Wednesday night, which is also ending this week.
Wow.
And starting November 9th, I will be running a game here on the Happy Jacks Network called Stone Top, which is fantasy. It's basically a small town fantasy story, which will be a lot of fun. And I actually want to, speaking of chat, the first week we were here, there was a member in chat who said they were going through a situation very similar to Abigail's in trying to come out as a trans woman to conservative Christian parents. And I kind of lost track of them, but if they're still listening, please DM me on Twitter, Emily VDW. We can talk about it. Love you all. Bye.
Mac.
Hey guys, I am and will continue to be Mac. You can find me on the interwebs as @StrangeLikeThat. That's the Twitter, the Instagram, and the Facebooks. You can also find me over at 12-Sided Stories, which is a highly produced podcast with sound effects and music. And I'm happy to say that in the not too distant future, we are recording the second season of Unquiet Blood, a game of Vampire 5e, which I GM.
Nice. I love that game. Jim.
Well, you can find me at +10toAwesome on Instagram, Twitter, and I have a page on Facebook as well. You can also find information about my kick-ass game convention that we hold 3 times a year that we're, because of the current situation, are holding virtually at strategicon.net, where you can find information about that if you like getting together and playing games with random unknown people. That's the place to go, and you are much welcome. Next thing should be coming up, in February at Orcon. And odds are likely that we will be doing it virtually, but if we are doing it live, keep your eyes posted on the website and we'll let you know.
Awesome. Last but not least, Joe.
Hi, everybody. I am Joe, and I am here for the other Monday, where I will be in Lighthearted with Kurt Potts. We are about midway through that campaign. Very fun. A lot of 80s, a lot of retro, bright neon magic with 80s tunes. So the opposite of this series.
Yes, but are there tornado spiders?
Not yet. I'm working on that.
Right.
That will be my thing in every campaign I play now. So I do want to say thank you so much to the players in this group. You guys have been fantastic.
Amazing.
This was my first streamed gaming group, so thank you so much for welcoming me and letting me hop in and join you guys. Chris, thank you so much for this awesome game and system. Where can people get this?
Drive-through RPG. We are selling. Also, you can find information on greatamericanwitch.com. Doing a lot behind the scenes for future products. A lot of the backers have put in their votes on what they would like to see next, so you'll be seeing things coming down the pike very quickly, actually. We're already started working on some of those projects. Also, you'll be able to see some other material I'm creating in terms of... This is a very interesting game to run. I wouldn't say that it's challenging, but it's different than basically any other game I've ever run. So I'm going to try to put together tools to help guides who want to run this game, and so you'll see some of that coming out. So stay tuned at greatamericanwitch.com, and I'll put all my stuff there. Thank you.
Fabulous.
Hope you enjoyed yourselves, and we are going to call it a night. Bye.
Take care, y'all. Bye. Love.
Bye.